Leave me alone. Life's an everyday adventure. That's my philosophy. My family loves to play in the woods. There is so much to see and do in nature. We try to go whenever we can, like today. My father said that this time he would teach me and my friends how to prepare for wilderness adventures. Usually my mother and father prepare everything. Now we would learn too. My friends arrived early for a big pancake breakfast. We giggled so much it seemed we would never finish eating. As we got up from the table, not only was my belly hurting from laughing, but also my toes began to tingle like mad in my moccasins. My father asked us to join him in his thinking room. His desk was filled with all sorts of things: Band-Aids, flashlights, snacks, and maps. Wow, there are a lot of things needed for a walk in the wilderness. Before my father explained anything, he placed a whistle around each of our necks. I felt like I had won a sporting event and was receiving my medal. Just as my father was about to speak, Marco blew into his whistle as hard as he could. Ouch!
Excellent, Marco. You'll scare away any wild animal with that loud whistling. Good job,
my father said as he patted him on the back. We all looked at each other and laughed. Then my father said something I would never have guessed. He said that a whistle could be a lifesaver. Not only was it good for scaring away animals, it was also good for helping to find someone who is lost. He said that if any of us were to get separated today, he or she should stay in one spot and blow the whistle until the rest of us find them. Good plan, I thought. We went through everything on the table. Some things like the first aid kit, sunscreen, matches, and a small knife went into my father's backpack, and all of the snacks, water bottles, and fun things went into ours. We were ready. My father finished by saying,
"Before we head out, I want to show you on the map the path that we'll take. We'll start at the entrance of the woods here, do a big loop by the lake, and end up back at the entrance."
We all gave each other high fives and headed out to the car. When we arrived at the entrance, my father asked if we remembered the path we were going to take. We all nodded. Next, he said that we were to pay close attention to things as we walked. He said it was important to look for landmarks. The first landmark we noticed was a tree that made a heart shape with its roots. It was so pretty. We all stood next to it, and my father took our picture. The next easy-to-remember thing we saw was 3 huge rocks that seemed to have fallen on each other. The way they landed left a hole we could walk through. It was awesome, but a little scary. Marco was the first to go through. He ran as fast as he could. Lily, Sunny, and I grabbed hands and ran together. Yahoo! We screamed as we ran. My father was smiling at us until Sunny screamed. Ouch! He ran over quickly and saw that Sunny had been bitten by a bunch of mosquitoes. My father was prepared. He whipped out the bug repellent and covered us as he explained.
"We must be close to the lake. Bugs like these are usually found around water. When walking in the woods, always bring some bug repellent or clothes that will cover your arms and legs. It can really save you from bites."
We were learning a great deal about wandering in the woods as we were, wandering in the woods. Lily stopped by a big bush with bright red berries. Just as she was about to pop them into her mouth, my father caught her.
Aha! Another important thing to know is to never eat or drink anything you find in the forest. No berries, no mushrooms, no water. Many things could be harmless, but unless you know for certain, it is best to eat and drink only what you've packed. Lily was on to something, however. We were all hungry. We found the lake and sat on a fallen tree trunk while we ate our snacks and drank some of our water. On the other side of the lake, we saw something. It was a family of deer.
They were drinking from the lake. My father told us about other wild animals as we watched the deer drink. He said that while most animals will leave you alone in the woods, you should never approach them. And if you feel threatened for any reason, it is best to make as much noise as possible to scare them away. For some reason, we all grabbed our whistles and blew them as hard as we could. We were laughing really hard until we realized that we had scared away the deer across the lake. I looked at my father and said, "Oops, I guess it really does work." He smiled and patted me on the head, and we all walked the last part of the loop trail. Just down the path, I saw a pretty plant. "Mr. Father, look at these!" I exclaimed as I reached down to touch it. My father blew his whistle loudly. He caught me just in time. I was about to touch poison ivy.
"When you see leaves of 3, let them be,"
he said as he gave me a hug. I smiled and said, "When I see leaves of 3, I will remember to think the plant is saying, 'Leave me alone.'" We all giggled as we finished our wilderness walk. Wandering in the woods, you see lots of beautiful things. Some are safe and some are to be left alone. Molly Moccasins, everyday adventurer.